This is the Leadway Wealth Builders Podcast, episode 186. So today we don't have an interview, but I wanted to update you guys on what our Airbnb is doing and some of the things we're learning, because it's definitely been a little bit of a process, but it's been a little bit easier than what I thought it was going to be. So if you haven't listened to this podcast before, this is the Leadway Wealth Builders Podcast, and my name is Chris Rickenbaugh, and I'm documenting my journey in real estate and business, and also bringing on high-level investors to share their stories about how they built their businesses. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at chris.rickenbaugh. That's chris.rickenbach. And if you're listening to this podcast, thank you so much, and stay right where you are and leave us a like, rating, comment, or review, because that is the only way this podcast grows and we can reach more people to be able to help them in their real estate and be able to just grow together, because that's what it's all about. So, let's hop into today's content. So, updating on the Airbnb. So, we've had it pretty solidly booked for the past couple of months here since we moved into the other house, and it's gone just about the way we've wanted it to. So, our whole goal was to just be able to pay the monthly mortgage and not even to cash flow off it. As long as it's paying for itself, we are completely fine. So we've had 2 month-long stays to where they were able to completely take care of those payments and a little bit extra. So what that does is that takes care of, first off, the mortgage and the HELOC. Then it takes care of electric and utilities. Then it takes care of our cleaning fee. So we set up with our cleaner. It's actually somebody who lives pretty close in the neighborhood. They've been really, really good so far, and they also clean for other Airbnbs. So they've been able to teach us a little bit about what they do. Hey, you need to be able to buy this certain material. They send pictures and updates of what they're doing, so before and afters of how the person left the house and how the cleaner is leaving the house for the next guest. So the communication has been a little bit different. So our cleaner speaks Spanish. So it's been interesting on that side of things, as, you know, getting, like, it's not worded as correctly or as grammatically correct. So it gives you a little bit of a heart attack when they send you, hey, this is how they left it. And then there's about 5 minutes of no video, and you're like, oh my gosh, how did they leave it? Like, what happened? And then the picture comes back fine. And it's like, oh my gosh, thank God. But, you know, that's been a little bit interesting on that side, just making sure we have the communication down, because we're scheduling, we scheduled one out when we were on vacation in Mexico. And I'm going to be doing a short breakdown of that trip, because we use points and miles for it, and definitely had an interesting trip. So, but we were able to book our cleaner through there. We booked the next guest, and everything went well with check-in. So it was really cool to see that full circle, like, hey, we can do this. And then over the past 3 months, it's been paying for itself, which is exactly our goal. We know it gets a little bit quiet around the holiday time, so we're expecting it to pick back up right around January, February, with a lot of building going on in that area. So we're excited to see where it goes and just kind of being able to keep updating on what it's doing. But I would say the only issue that we had was here recently, where the tenant says, or I had to reach out to them, they weren't really responding, and then they finally did and said, hey, I do have a question about the bathroom because we're not getting any water pressure. And we're like, oh no. Send me a video, try this. And once it wasn't working, I said, all right, let's get our plumber out there. And the plumber was able to get out there the next day, and then he was able to get that problem solved. And once it was solved, it was done. No more comments or concerns from the group. So being able to communicate those, being able to get in contact with our plumber, and who helps us with some small renovations around the house, just being able to put into use all of the things I listen to on the podcast. I listen to a lot of the Bigger Pockets podcasts where Rob Abacello Abba Solo was talking about his Airbnbs, and as well as Tony Robinson and Ashley Kerr, they were talking about what they do, how they run their Airbnbs. It's like, here's who you need on your list. Here's how you make it a little less stressful for you. And you're actually able to go and implement these things that you've listened to. So, and that's what I've been doing all the way through real estate and from the podcast and now into buying businesses and different opportunities. So super cool full circle moment that, don't let it leave you an analysis paralysis on, all the content, all the books, all the podcasts. Make sure you're actually taking action. And, sometimes you have to take it with a grain of salt. And we just got off the phone with a couple different people today in our community. And they're, talking about analysis paralysis. So analysis paralysis is because you're not focused enough or have a clear enough idea of where you want to go. So being able to consume all of that information leads to that because there's so many different options on where to go. So being able to really narrow down, get specific, and have that 10-year vision of exactly where you want to go is going to be able to help direct you and then simplify a lot of what you're doing. So that's what I'm going to leave this podcast on. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode, and we will have more guests coming up. So make sure you're tuning in because this is a personal documentation of what I'm doing in real estate and business, and we have some really, really cool things to be able to share soon. So make sure you tune in for that, and this is Chris Rickenbaugh on the Leadway Wealth Builders Podcast.